Hey guys, this is my first Viking hair tutorial. I want to preface this by saying this is not something I think just anyone could do on someone else. This was a 3-hour process of me just kind of creating, inventing, and doing what I think might look good and might be kind of out of the box. I wanted to resemble many Vikings that I've seen in movies or different shows. So as you saw, I used the mold and hold to kind of separate the hair after parting it down the middle. And then I have this little section. I'm going to braid it going backwards. I did a few plaits and then I'm adding in some hair, very thin pieces of hair, just for dimension, and the ends are lighter so that you can really see the braids and they kind of pop when they lay against her head. If you don't know how to do feed-in braids, I will do another tutorial that will kind of show you my process without my hands in the way, if I can get my husband to help me out there. But it's pretty much just adding a large strand of hair to it underneath, and you want to have one of the 3 strands blocking it so it doesn't fall through. Try to have tight tension. I don't always have tight tension in this because I wanted to pull the braids out a little bit to be fuller, but you can have tighter tension if you desire that. So I'm just braiding along. I use the mold and hold that you saw, and I don't really recommend it because it doesn't have a tight hold. It's nice because it's natural and doesn't have petroleum or various harmful ingredients in it, but it also doesn't have a great hold. So next time when I do something like this, I'm probably going to use Shine njam Ultra Hold because it has a much better hold. So far, this is what I'm doing with it. I'm making sure I don't get any baby hairs in there. I'm leaving out a tiny little piece in the front, and I'm braiding all the way down. This is going to loop around, and I pulled out a little bit. I kind of wish I would have pulled out more, but I did pull out a little bit. Helpful tip when you're doing this is pull as you go. Don't wait till you're like all the way done with the braid because it's very hard to pull the hair out. And then it loosens the part that's really close to the head as well. Do what I say, not what I do. I go around here and keep braiding and pull out a little bit, but I should have pulled out more from the beginning, but that's okay. And I didn't add any more hair. I just added a few on the top. Now I'm going to go in with this wire to keep the hair in front of her left eyebrow out of her face and kind of have more of a rounded effect and not be droopy. Since I did not braid super tight and I wanted to be able to pull out the hair like this, I needed to have that wire in there to make it have a nice curve over the ear and have the curve in front of her face as well. So I needed to unbraid and rebraid and pin a little bit, so don't mind me tweaking it. Here you can kind of see the difference in colors. I like how the added hair wefts that I put in there are more of an ashy tone than her hair. So it gives it a low light that she doesn't currently have. And I think that looks really pretty. And that's why I decided to add a few of those extension pieces just so that we had some light and depth in there. And another nice thing is the ends of these extensions are a lot lighter than the root, so it kind of matches her natural base, which looks really pretty too. I love using blondes when I do videos because you can see the light and depth in people's hair, but I have nothing against brunettes, don't get me wrong. It's just for video and picture purposes. You can see kind of what I'm doing and the separation of all the hair, the braiding and the curls better when you have variants of colors. When you only have dark or you're not adding extensions of various colors, then it's hard to see in the camera. On this section, I only used about 2 or 3 little pieces of extra hair, so it's not a super different color, but I kind of liked that option because now we have 2 kind of different color braids. That powder that you saw earlier was the Osis Dust Powder by Schwarzkopf, and honestly, I use it on almost every person that I braid or do an updo on. This is another tool that I also like. It's the Samvilla crimping tool. A lot of companies have different kinds that you can use. I mean, I don't know one is better than the other. This is just the only one I've ever used. He uses a lot on many of his YouTube tutorials, and I started using it about 2 years ago, maybe right before the pandemic. And I love the volume that it adds. And here you can see me spraying the powder in as well. Once you spray that in and crimp it, you really only have to tease like 2 or 3 times. And can you see the volume that is happening here in this section? I can't get over how much volume I get with this powder. Here's another one. Osis makes this other dust. It adds more texture to fine hair that's super silky, and that's why I use it. So this is how I like to attach the extension hair when I don't want to braid it in. I just kind of want to put it in there, but I also don't want to bobby pin it in. I like rubber banding it around itself like I just showed you, and then I tie it onto a piece. Once that's in, you can braid, you can do whatever you want, and you don't have to worry about it slipping or the bobby pin showing in any way. So I'm just tying this off and I'm pulling out little pieces to really give her that mohawk effect of a Viking, that they always kind of seem to have some type of mohawk or added height to their hair. So I thought that would be cool to do, kind of like a bubble braid or pull through braid. I don't know what you call it, but we're going to do that. And I'm just teasing maybe 2 or 3 times on either side, adding that extension piece for depth, and then tying it over the previous piece. And you're going to pull it tight and then just pull out a bunch of pieces as you can go. I like to wrap the hair around the rubber band, but the first one you don't really need to because it's so close to the other one. But you can totally wrap their hair around each rubber band so you don't see it. It's up to you. I take this Topsy tail that you just saw me use and I put it through the top to pull that tail of the hair that we're hiding the rubber band with through the rubber band, so you don't have to worry about bobby pinning it or somehow manipulating it. But that's how most hairdressers kind of hide the rubber bands, is with the Topsy tail. Or you can use 2 long, wide hairpins, not bobby pins, but hairpins to do it if you don't have one of those Topsy tail plastic things, the purple thing that I used. And if you've noticed here, I'm not teasing anymore because her hair is so thick, I don't really need to. You can if you want to. I'm just pulling it out a little bit. If you really want it to come off of her head, you can totally tease it and make it look even thicker on either side. Here's an example of hairpins that I use. They're about maybe 3 inches long. I take one and I push it through the rubber band, and then I take the other and pull the hair through it almost like a threaded needle, and then pull the other hairpin through the bottom rubber band like this. And I added these 2 fishtail braids on either side for difference in color, and I wrapped them around each rubber band as I went down for this picture. I got a little carried away with video and picture and did not show you exactly how I did that, but I will show you how I create the fishtail braid on a rubber band, and then I just bobby pinned it in place on either side of her head underneath that last loop and created this and the other style that you saw before. I did the right side and then I wrapped all 4 braids around the bottom part of the braid. I hope you enjoyed watching this, and if you have any questions, let me know, and let me know what you want my next Viking video to be about. Thanks for watching.